Yes. Why, it's Ken from Mean Street Mopar. Welcome, Ken. Good evening. Greetings and salutations. And hey, this one's to you. Just a Pepsi. Ma! Excusez-moi. So, how was everyone's week? Mine was I just duffed around the house, but I got stuff done, including the shower is almost done. Like, we test ripped it on Sunday, and we forgot to caulk one spot, like the bottom of the it's a corner stall shower, so where the walls come to make the point, well, that's sitting on the pan, we forgot to caulk. Such a polite boy, you're excused. Yeah, so other than we got to caulk some more stuff, we actually had water flowing in it, and yeah. Oh, and I got to nail up a piece of paneling. So other than that, she's done, and we got all the tools taken out of the bathroom again. It looks like a civilized person's bathroom again. Time for a glass of gin. Unfinished 777. Oh, yeah. So we got the shower operational, and it was just little piddly things, and it was just, I was putting it off is what I was doing, and I'm glad I just finally got it done, because the other bathroom, I mean, it's okay, but it's not the master bathroom, and it's nice to have that back. So took care of that, did a whole bunch of chores. We had a branch fall off of a tree across the street, and was blocking the road, so we just drug it over into our yard to get it out of the way because cars were hitting it. And then I processed it. What was it, last Monday? Was it last Monday? 2 Mondays ago. I processed it, cut all the little branches off. It was probably 10 inches on one side, and probably 15 feet long. And excuse me again. And got that all. I got everything cut off of the main trunk and put in a pile. So Saturday or Sunday, I just got the pruning shears out and I cut it all up and burned the whole dang thing. And all I got left is probably a 10-foot log that I need to borrow my dad's chainsaw and zip it up. And then it's gone. Burned for probably, I don't know, 10 hours. Redone my first floor, bathroom, new floor, toilet, sink, and vanity. And pipe chase walls. Found some really cool vintage bucket seats for $150, and John Wilburn went and got them for me. He did me a big favor by going and picking them up for me, and they will fit the day 2 look I'm going for. Nice. You know, John Wilburn, that's all right. Isn't that a beautiful thing? To where now, instead of like, oh wow, you know, Anytown USA, has this and it's a good deal. And you're thinking, God, it's a good deal, but it's not worth the 15 hours of windshield time it takes one way to go get it. But then you're like, wait a minute, so-and-so lives there. Hey, bud. Yeah, I'll hang on to it for you. I'll even put it in the mail for you. Ship it to you. Hell yeah. Or hey, you're busy until a month? I'll come visit you and bring it. Hi, Ginger. We were just talking about Mr. Wilburn. Nice to see you, Ginger. Welcome. I do love our community too. Ashes are good to sprinkle in flower beds and vegetable gardens. This is true. My grandmother, great grandmother, I never met her. She passed in the 50s. But she would make homemade lye soap out of fire ash. And Dad said that stuff was just the cat's meow. If you had any poison ivy working out on the farm, we got a fly in the shop. But yeah, get some poison ivy and get some of that homemade lye soap. They'll knock it out. There's also naphtha soap that you can get at the hardware store. Comes in a white and red wrapper, and it says naphtha. Big letters across the middle of it. Cardboard Rich. Oh, that's so great. Whoa, it's Tony from Tony's Hot Rod Garage. What's happening, Tone? Good to see ya. Zup. Nice. Leaves are starting to change. The leaves are starting to fall. Excuse me. Gonna have to get our leaf sweeper out. And man, that thing is the cat's meow. We just tow it behind our lawn tractor, flips everything into the back. Lady Dougster, well, Lady Dougster usually runs everything around and she'll pile everything up around out back at our fire pit. And then after, if she takes it all in, there's probably 13 different little piles around the fire pit. I clear out the fire pit, make a good crackling fire, and then I start shoveling the leaves to it. And then now it's in to win. And if you keep it moving and you adjust the leaves just right, it gets such a hot roaring fire. My fire don't make a lot of smoke when she's rolling. And that's the thing. If you can stand the heat, you can keep right in there and just keep it going, and it's all gone. You can actually watch the pile go down as I work. And it's one of those things, once you start, you can't stop unless you want to be there longer. And it gets hot, ladies and gentlemen. Whew, it's hot. Got a strap-on steel blower for the street cleaning. John wants to know if you can play any more tunes. Like what kind of tunes? Happy Monday. Hey, Jason. Yeah, it was a happy Monday. Mondays always seem to be the day of the week that goes by the fastest. For whatever reason, Mondays at work just go right through. Probably because we're usually, busy on Monday. No parts? I never realized that either. Race car spelled backwards is race car. That one's almost as good. If race car spelled backwards is race car, the other one that I love is two wrongs don't make a right, but three lefts do. Okay. They take care of my can. 10 cents here in the great state of Michigan. Yes, we pay 10 cents deposit on every can. However, you don't see cans on the side of the road. People pick them up because it's worth a dime. Go to Indiana, is over a good distance into the Michigan Indiana line, and then you start seeing pop cans and beer cans all over the sides of the road. No deposit in Indiana. Well, you can turn them in for scrap value, but that ain't nothing. It's a few pennies. Ah. Yep, race car is a palindrome. Just like mom, Bob, dad. Rat star is a palindrome. Yep, rat star, but it's not a real word. Shouldn't the palindrome be a palindrome itself? Well, I mean, maybe, but how ironic if it was. So I haven't been able to, I was busy with other projects. I wasn't able to work on the Valkyrie yet. I still have to, I've got it on the bike hoist. I've got the front tire in the air. So the Valkyrie's sitting level. And then I pulled the muffler tip off so I could add more access. Because, of course, the fill port on the final drive on that motorcycle, the muffler's right in behind it. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get that plug out. And I'm at least going to check and see what my level is and what it looks like. And at the very least, I'm going to do a service and then probably take it for a cold ride and see if it's still squeaking. I'm almost wondering if one of the actual hub bearings isn't giving up the ghost, which means the wheel has to come off of that bike. And I don't like doing that job. That sucks. Wish we had deposit here. The homeless would make out like bandits. Yeah. It's Thanksgiving Day in Canada. Yeah, today is Thanksgiving in Canada. In July 1st is Canada Day. Um, When's Boxing Day? Who's up on their Canadian stuff? When's Boxing Day? No, Boxing Day is like day after Christmas, I think. I don't remember. One of my favorite stories. December 26th is Boxing Day. There we go. Okay. Thanks, Tom. Some of the guys I watch, some of the Canadians I watch are from Alberta, Canada, and Strong's Garage. They got all sorts of cool old stuff, all the old tools and old. They do everything the old way, and it's so cool. And they've got good stuff like Snap-on and stuff like that, but it's ancient Snap-on. And yeah, they actually show the old Canadian flag, the big red Canadian flag that's got the other stuff on it, and before they adopted the maple leaf. It was on MASH. Oh yes, 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 yes. Isn't it? Because it's also observed by the English, and it was when the men came with all sorts of wounds in their abdomens, and the English had tea with them, and that could have killed them all. Yeah, and they talk about Boxing Day. Burp. Ah, is it because I belch? Sorry. Hey, what's happening, Neverboard? Double tap the screen. I did. All that does is bring up whoever for me to do something with if I choose to. Ken was telling us about going to get the bucket seats for him. That's awful nice of you, John Wilburn. I'm sure Ginger was co-pilot in that one. So, yay, team. So, oh, nice. I see what you're saying. You stayed home and slept. Ah, Jethro is co-pilot. Yes. And he stays on mission unless there's a two-wheeled vehicle in the vicinity, then he loses his mind. Other than that, Jethro was co-pilot. Wow. A walrus woodpecker. That's a big woodpecker. There used to be a huge woodpecker off in the woods to the west of me. And when he was going for the grubs in those trees, he meant business. He sounded like a frickin' construction jackhammer. Now there's a young one. I don't know if the old boys still are with us, but now there's a young one, and he doesn't have near the power. The bicycle went by and now was loading up. He was rocking the car, barking. Good gravy. If only we could harness that kind of energy. Yeah. Oh man. Number of years ago, my friend's deck got overtaken by carpenter bees. Holy crap, they decimated that thing. It was unbelievable. We finally got them all taken care of, and he's like, "Is this going to be okay? This will be okay, right?" And I'm looking at it going, "No, it was bad. It was real bad." What's up, Cheetos? Thank you. Yeah, I remember you, Cheetos. Brazil, cool. I think is it Brazil? There's a Ford pickup. It was like called a Ford 7000 or something like that. And it was a long box pickup, but it had this really huge extended cab piece on it that would, like by American standards, this thing would be a hotel, not just a cab and a half. It was like this big weird extended cab thing. It looked custom. It's like a Ford 7000. Okay, of course, our resident Ford man, Danster's right on the case. Was that a Brazilian vehicle, Danster? The Ford 7000 or F1000? Yes, the F1000. Yes. I'm getting my big rigs mixed up with my pickup trucks. The F1000. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Danster. Okay, Ford F250. Okay. I think it's a Ford. Does nothing special. Hey, guy, good to see ya. Hey, does, get this. Today, this day was the grand opening of a Hot and Now by the casino. There's a casino near me, and across the road, they started this big industrial park thing. And one of the first things there is a Hot and Now. There hasn't been a Hot and Now in this area since like 2000. So, excuse me. So, I drive through that area. So I was like, you know what? If it's not busy, I'm going to swing in and get myself a hamburger just for nostalgia's sake. I had it. There's one down south of me, a little over an hour away in Sturgis, Michigan, that I went to in 24. And so it's been like a year, some change, just a little over a year. It was grand opening today, and it was like 3:40 when I went through. Wow, there had to have been at least a mile of cars waiting to get into the Hot and Now. So everybody else is hankering for Hot and Now just like I was. And I looked at all that and went, nope, I'm getting it another day. I'm not waiting for it. I don't need it that bad. But yeah, there had to have been a mile of cars. They had cruisers parked in there directing traffic for a cheap hamburger fast food joint. He had one in the early 90s. It was gone by 92 or 93. most of our stores that we had, there was a couple, there was like 4 up in the Grand Rapids area north of me, and there was one in Otsego south of me, and then there was some in Kalamazoo, and then down in Sturgis. So there, I bet you at one time there was 20 locations in this area, and just one day, nothing, bye-bye. And one of the last ones I remember, a new store, was over in a certain neighborhood in the greater Grand Rapids area, and they had a Marathon gas station with a Hot and Now in it. So one of those side by side stores, and I don't even think that Hot and Now lasted 2 years, and it was taken out. It was closed and taken out of that gas station. Now you go in that gas station, and yeah, it's just a regular store. They took all of it out. Do I like Slipknot? Yeah, I got to be in the right mood for it. I'm an old metalhead from back in the day, and yeah, if I'm in the mood for that stuff, yeah, I'll tie on some Slipknot, but it's not as much as I used to. Don't want it that badly. Yeah. And a cat named Kalamazoo. Yep. Have Quincy's Steakhouse? No, we didn't have Quincy's, but we did have one called Ryan's Steakhouse. And those were actually really good. It was kind of, Ryan's Steakhouse was kind of a copy of Ponderosa without being a copy. Does that make sense? Basically, it was another brand of It wasn't Ponderosa, it wasn't owned by them, but I mean, it was someone mimicking Ponderosa. But the stores, the restaurants themselves were pretty cool. They were kind of log cabin-esque and had a real Art Deco design to them, and they were pretty cool. And another one of those restaurants that just up and disappeared. They used to be around, and then they just all up and disappeared. And then we went down to Indiana to visit Lady Dougster's family, and we stopped off the highway, and right off the highway we found a Ryan's Steakhouse. I was like, looked just like all the other restaurants I had remembered from long ago, still in operation. I was like, holy crap. So, no, never heard of Quincy's. Like you hear people like, oh, we're going to go to the Sizzler. I never remember Sizzlers around here. I remember Howard Johnson's, old Hojo's. Mom and Dad always called it Hojo's. Now, Ponderosa also has Bonanza. So there's Ponderosas and Bonanzas, and it's the same company, and it's basically the same restaurant, but some are Ponderosas and some are Bonanzas. And I've only seen one Bonanza. In November 22nd, the CP holiday trains will be going across southern Michigan into northwestern Ohio, Indiana, 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. Hojo's ice cream. Yeah, Hojo's. Yeah. That was funny. Quincy steak was okay. Their claim to fame was yeast rolls. Oh, yeah. Had a Halo Burger opened by my mom's house, and we went there opening day. It was a madhouse. I can only imagine. Bonanza had kick-ass chicken fried steak. The chicken fried steak from Bonanza is the same chicken fried steak that you'd get at Ponderosa. Yeah, that was always good. It was one of my favorite things to get as a kid. Because my as my entree. Our Ponderosa closed 30 years ago. Our Ponderosa closed. The one in Hastings, which is east of me. I'd say that closed maybe 15 years ago. And it was actually still a busy place. Our Ponderosa closed 30 years ago. People in Bluefield only eat what comes out of the side of the building and pay. Ponderosa never had chicken fried steak, or I would have gotten it every time. Yeah, the Ponderosa's up here had chicken fried steak. Huh. I saw Andy Griffith at Quincy's in Monterey many years ago. It was while he was doing Matlock. How cool! How cool! Good old Mathari. Ponderosa World Headquarters is at the Dayton International Airport. Okay, I didn't know they were out of Ohio. That's interesting. So when Lady Dougster and I first started seeing each other, and we would go periodically to dinner to the Ponderosa, and I would always get the sirloin tips, and I always get them rare. And so one day we're sitting down and eating dinner, and she's looking at me eating my sirloin tips. She's like, they're still mooing. And I'm like, I know, it's so good. And she's like, it's red. And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, it's bleeding. And I'm like, no, it's not bleeding, but that's steak juice. I said, it's tender, it's juicy, it's good. Here, try some. And I'm serious. It probably took maybe about 3 or 4 times of us, and we'd have the same conversation, and finally she tried it, and she's like, "Wow, that's good," because she was raised in a household where everything has to be pulverized, done. No pink. That's not done. So, and I showed her how good a rare steak can be. So I still eat my steaks really rare, and she likes them on the rare side, but cooked a little longer than I like them. Me, I'm like, wipe his butt, lop his horns off, and give me a knife and fork. I'll eat what I want, and I'll ride the rest home. I saw Andy Griffith in my living room just the other day. No kidding. Was he with Don Knotts? I like my steak medium. Too rare leaves me feeling bloated. Interesting. Kev, hi, bye. I'm recovering from the big model car show Saturday. Well, get all rested up, Kev. Great seeing you. Hopefully you took home some. Hopefully you're so worn out from hauling home the big ass trophy. So, good seeing you. Hi, goodbye. I've got a Mickey Thompson drag car model, and it's the Mickey Thompson Revel Leader. And they made it 2 years, or Mickey Thompson ran the campaign that car 2 years. And I think it's an old Omega. And it came in, no, it's Pontiac Grand Am. Yeah, it's a Pontiac Grand Am. And it's a funny car. And then one paint scheme is yellow. And then the next one, and that's what mine is. Mine's cast in yellow. It's supposed to be the yellow one. But then I got to see the Mickey Thompson Revel Leader in orange. And oh, I like the orange paint scheme so much better. I wish I could make mine the orange Revelator instead of the yellow Revelator. Actress that played Thelma Lou in the Andy Griffith Show moved to Mount Airy from LA to get away from the crime. Then she got robbed. Too raw and reminds me of bubblegum. I like a little meat juice. Got photos for magazine coverage. No trophies at this show. No competition. I like steak well done, mostly because I hear people tell me how that's not okay. Oh, okay. What's the topic today? This is my first time watching you, brother. We really don't have a topic. Right now we're talking about steaks and how we like our steaks cooked. But really we talk about everything and nothing. Here we boldly go nowhere. We just, whatever comes up is what we talk about. Within reason, of course. Non-competitive. Oh, okay. So it's just a show. It's not like check this out, doing battle kind of thing. I see. It's a variety show. It is a variety show. Could you see me coming out like Ed Sullivan? And tonight on our show, we'll have the world's, where are you? There you are. We'll have the world's tallest nun. Don't stand up, sister. It's a variety show. The payoff will be getting published in model car magazines. Yes. Yes. I've always been in awe of master modelers ever since I was young. It's just amazing the time and effort and the skill. Hello all, I was late, but I got a phone call right as you started. It's okay. You're still here, Bufferino. The one thing that I would like to master in modeling if I ever get back into it, I like playing with the real cars, but I have I want to learn how to master the foil. There's a silver foil that you can use, and you can lay it down like tape, and you can do like the shiny stainless trim and like around the windshield and around your windows and stuff like that. I'd like to. That looks very annoying, but yeah. And I've always wanted to do a real detailed engine bay, like a distributor with wires and real belts on pulleys and like really real lifelike stuff. You'll see my stuff in that video, especially introduction to the video. Okay. Trim it. I actually don't know how to use it. I think what you got to do is get it cut to the right size and then get it test fit until you've got it hewn down to how you need it. And then I think you just peel the backing and then lay the foil down. I think. I've never done it, so I'm purely speculating. What do I do for a living? I work in a food manufacturing facility, and I load food on trucks. That's what I do all day. I see the dude's name Cheetos, and I went and got some Cheetos. Yeah, Cheetos. I like Cheetos. I like crunchy Cheetos over poofy Cheetos. And then right, either it's original Cheetos or it's the jalapeno Cheetos. Other than that, yeah, those are my two. Those are my two picks. But usually, original Cheetos win. I'll check it out. I unload food from an old truck. Someone's got to do it. Much respect. Cheetos mac and cheese for me though. Okay, I've had that. That's actually pretty good. She eats Cheetos on the way to dinner. Obviously, that's the appetizer of choice. The Lance's cheese and crackers. Those are okay. All day, every day. Yeah, 100% carbs. I can't eat them anymore. Yeah. Oh, nice. Now that's a job that can be an all right job, and that can be a not all right job. But I mean, plumbers, plumbers in the States make good money. Oh boy, man, feed Jethro enough Cheetos, he'll probably turn into a flamethrower. Just had the plumber out where I live today. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ribs, corn, and homemade cheesecake. He likes Cheetos. Bad solder joint soaked the plaster off the staircase ceiling. Oh, okay. Plumbers in new construction have it made, the rest not so much. Oh, Kylie. Hi. Okay, let me take care of my can. Another 10 cents. Speaking of feeding dogs Cheetos, my aunt and uncle had a Heinz 57 dog. His name was Max. And Max was actually a really good dog. And my aunt was adamant about it. Please don't feed Max people food. Just don't do it. And we're all at the family cabin, and Max is there, and a Cheeto puff fallen on the ground. And before my mom could reach to get it, Max ate it. And she's like, well, I tried, right? That one thing made him so foul for the whole weekend, nobody could handle him. All because of one Cheeto. My mom's like, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. The pros can have that job. Yes, there's a reason why they get paid. Got a phone call today from a number I didn't recognize, and I answered it, and he said, "Hey, this is." Oh, you still need a plumber? I said, you got the wrong number. They supposedly completed repairs on the northbound side of the Zilwaukee Bridge, and it should open tomorrow. I didn't realize the Zilwaukee Bridge was out of commission. That is the only, because yeah, Zilwaukee Bridge is on 75. That is the only stop on 75 on the whole stretch of it. That runs to the Canadian, 75 runs the Canadian border to Florida. And Zilwaukee Bridge is, because I think it's the whole thing raises up, I think. Old Matt can tell us. But yeah, that's the only stop on the whole highway, is because of that bridge. Rob, what's happening? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kim and I were plumbers last night. There will be a video. Well, that was actually Kim's profession for a while. She was a plumber. I'm a service plumber working in crawl spaces, attics, basements, digging underground utilities, everything service, and I do new construction as well. Not easy, but I feed my family. Yeah, I can totally get behind that. Not making $1 million, but I'm doing all right. Yeah, I can get behind that. Telling us about Ring Seal tonight. Just another Monday. Toto Drake is the best toilet. If you clog one, you're eating bad. You can flush a grapefruit down that one. I-75 is 40 miles west of me. What are my hobbies? I like antiques. I like antique tools, antique machinery. I like vintage stereo equipment. I collect records. I like to tinker. I like fast cars. I like fast motorcycles. I hit all across the board. I like signs. I like oil cans, and I got so many hobbies. I collect Coleman lanterns. I have Coleman lanterns that are over 100 years old and work, run and drive. Kim is a journey woman plumber, and she has a degree in civil engineering. Hello from Summersdale, New Jersey. From New Jersey. Nice. Welcome, Aiden. Old cars, old food, and old women. Sure, why not? Ooh, 1992 Mitsubishi 3000 GT. That's the Eagle. Eagle Talon? Yeah, Eagle Talon. Cool car. Cool car. That thing will put you in the back of your seat, my guy. Old shit. Nice. Yeah, that's a fun car. My cousin had a 4-cylinder Eagle Talon. Yeah, it was a 4-cylinder 5-speed Eagle Talon, and man, that thing would just pull so great when the turbo would spool. Loved it. I'll just put you back of your seat. The old Zilwaukee drawbridge was replaced in the late 80s. Ah, thank you, old Mac. I'm only 24, but I love the way it makes me feel in the late 80s and 90s. Well, that's also in a time, Aiden, where cars were gutted. We went from big, powerful cars to where you could buy a car and 1971 and have 400 horsepower on tap under your right foot. And then emissions and fuel economy standards and everything come into play. And then the auto industry didn't know what to do, and they ended up cutting compression on engines, and then the complex smog systems and everything, and catalytic converters, and the beginning of all that, everything was just choked off. And then for a long time, they no longer had the auto manufacturers. They no longer had real performance because their cars were just gutted. So that was the era that the auto manufacturers couldn't sell steak, so they sold the sizzle. And that's when you had cars with like the really elaborate paint jobs on them from the factory, like a Mustang 2 Cobra and stuff like that. They had to make them look flashy because that's all they could do. They weren't fast. And then finally, towards the early 80s, then turbochargers started to show up, like the GLH and the GLHS, and like your Mitso. And yeah, and then all of a sudden, like Grand National shows up. And then for the first time in a long time, we actually got some horsepower for a change. And even though a GLHS was only like 150 horsepower, the thing just would lay it down. It was just fun. Complex cars, we don't want them. One! Mustang Cobra. Oh, yes. Actually, if you want of that Cobra that I'm talking about, you're going to want the Mustang, like a Mustang King Cobra. The King Cobra in black and red is a good-looking car, but it's all sizzle and no steak. Good to see you, Juan. I have a 2000 Mercury Mountaineer with the old school Windsor 5.0 with the GT40 Mustang heads, torque monster headers, no cats, newer old school build. That'll move. 5-point slow ain't nothing to sneeze at. With a single turbo setup, I've heard of the 3000 GT breaking over 800 horsepower. It's got to be pretty stoutly built to withstand those kind of power levels. But yeah, anything's possible if your checkbook's fat enough. Black and cherry red. Good to see you too. Yes, black and cherry red. That's what the King Cobra's paint scheme is. It's sharp. It's a sharp car. Put a set of them GT40s on my Fox 5-point slow, and they made a good difference. Oh, cherry candy red. Yeah. Love it, not fast. But all the power's down low. Well, that's where you want it anyway, because you're riding down the street. You want torque. You don't need horsey powers. So yeah, you've got an engine that'll make 900 horsepower at 7,000 RPM, but how often are you winging the thing to $7,000 to wrangle that 900 horse out of it? But if it makes 600 foot-pounds of torque at 3,000 RPM, now we're talking. We're always getting into 3,000 RPM. Do I play chess? Yes, I do. Very poorly. I never mastered the game of chess. I would not be much of an opponent. Now put me on a cribbage board, watch out. But no, I can't. I can play chess, but not like with any strategy or skill. You've never heard of that game, cribbage? It's a card game played. Played with a board and pegs, and you go to 121 points, and then your hands are scored by groups of 50 or by 15. So if you have, let's say, 3 7s and an 8 in your hand, well, 7 and 8 is 15. So you get 2 points for every 15 it makes. So that's 15-2, 15-4, 15-6. So for the 3 15s, then because I have 3 of a kind, that's 6 points also. So that's a 12-point hand. It's kind of confusing, but once you sit down and play the game and get the nuances, it picks up fast. And then, yeah, it's fun. 14,251 at 99.11 miles an hour through a 5-speed and a 308 gear. With Dan driving, cruising in the quarter, crossing the quarter in 3rd gear, which tells me it's a high 13-second car. Okay. 13 seconds, really, I mean, up until cars got absolutely stinking horsepower crazy, like 12 and a half seconds for a factory sports car was moving. So, 12 and a half seconds is still fast. I mean, we had a Korean kid. This is like 2000. I worked with a Korean kid. He lived at home and he dumped every penny that he made into his Mitsubishi Eclipse. And he had I forget, it was a V6 and it was twin turbo, and it was his daily driver and his drag car. And he would go up to Stanton, Mid-Michigan Motorplex, and then he was churning it out in 2000. He was turning out 10 flats with that thing, driving it to the track, churning out 10 flats all night long, and then driving home. He drove it to work every day. The car was amazing. It was charcoal gray. Can't figure out how to post a link. Yeah, I'm all thumbs when it comes to that stuff too, so don't feel bad, Kev. Takes me longer than 12 and a half seconds to get out of bed in the morning. In this day and age, if you aren't running faster than 11.4, it's real slow. You're right. But I mean, nowadays cars are just insane. Like a Hellcat was 700 horsepower and launch control and all that other stuff, and all the cool stuff those demons do. And I think the Hellcats too, where you put it in launch mode and then it'll turn on the air conditioner, but not to keep you cool in the car, but it switches over, and then it's got Freon lines that run in the air intake. So as she's gulping, as that supercharger's gulping down fresh air, it's getting chilled by the AC system. And I'm like, oh, that's so good. Where are you from? I'm in Egypt. Your opinion of Egypt? I am from the USA. I'm from Michigan. And my opinion of Egypt is I want to come visit because pyramids are cool. The Nile is got to be cool. And yeah, I just want to check it all out. I definitely want to see the Sphinx. Yeah, I want to check out Egypt. R35, Tesla Plaid, those are the best cars. Daily cars. The Plaid under 60K is a huge bargain. Okay. We had, I forget what model the Tesla was, but at No Name Nationals, Stuff with Cletus brought his Tesla out and was racing it. And it's always strange when you're at the big end of the track, where usually you're hearing an engine all, letting all the eagles fly. And then here comes the Tesla at speed, and it just goes, other than it's breaking the wind. So that's about it. It's kind of strange. But I mean, the only thing that attracts me to an EV is all of the torque now. No, don't wind it up. It's hit the go pedal, torque, all of it now. Then again, I've been driving EVs for probably the past 25 years. Yeah. I've been driving electric high-lows for almost the entire time I've been driving high-lows. Some of them with regenerative braking. Ooh. So tons of money in other cars and they weren't capable. 60K, I could buy 60 of the cars I buy. Figured out how to post links. See above. Good job, Kev. Don't ask me to do it again. Be happy with what you have. Think I'd buy six $10,000 cars, or maybe four $15,000 cars, or three $20,000 cars. I'm done with the $15,000 cars. Plaid is 1,000 wheel horsepower, and it drives me across the country. No issues. Hey, to each their own. I own four $1,000 cars. I think I bought Shop Truck for $350. No, I bought it. Well, I traded a Cub Cadet lawn tractor and $350 for it. So I guess I paid $700. Essentially, I paid $700 for Shop Truck. We had a lot of fun with Kim's Bronco. I think she has less than a K into it. Oh, that's great. That's great. With all that said, what is your dream car? Okay. Old Mac Plaid is Tesla Plaid, and it's one of the big chooching fast Teslas. The Tesla Plaid is the one that gets out and really moves super fast. I'll get behind that. I have built R35, A90, Supra. All of them with 70K invested are still slower than the Tesla Plaid with 55,000 and zero invested in mods. No. And I'll tell you why the ICE engine will still be around is because 100 years ago, we stood at the horizon of electric and ice, and we chose ice, and our infrastructure has been set up for internal combustion, portable fuel. So go to the gas station and fill up and keep moving. versus the electric car where you have to carry your fuel source with you. And so I think there's a place for electrics, but there's also a place for internal combustion. So I think we're just going to have to share, is what I'm getting at. But I think it'll be just fine. Look at RC Nitro cars, early 2000s. Once the batteries were sustainable. They completely took over, yes. But also, one of the drawbacks is, at least with internal combustion, as long as there isn't a line at the gas station, I can pull up to a pump. I can fuel up my car, do all my running around that I need to do, and if I really pushed it, probably 15 minutes, I'm back on the road. Half an hour. Grease spot, what's happening? But 15 minutes to half an hour, and I'm back on the road with a full tank of fuel and snacks and sodas and whatever else we need. And now, granted, the same thing with the Tesla. Now you're low on charge, you go find a supercharger, and it's going to take you 2.5 hours to charge up. And so you pull up to the supercharger, and there's already a guy there at the supercharger, because there's only one, and he's 45 minutes into his 2.5 hour charge. So now you have to wait the duration of his plus your own. So I don't know. I know this will get better as time progresses, but that's a reality now. Have you seen the new election cam technology? It's the only thing that I can see battling performance of EVs these days. No, I'll have to look that up. Got my car home over the weekend, so the build starts on my channel. Nice. Love a build. Your Tesla is an hour at supercharger from 0. Wow. Okay. But isn't that the key? Is you've got to go get it. You got to get it like almost dead to the supercharger to get that 1 hour charge. Am I right? Or could you go there? How long would it take if you wanted to just top off? Like if you had a 45% battery, how long would that take to top off? 3,000 miles cost me around $1,000. $100 to charge at home. Wow, that's not bad. What got me starting YouTube? I guess the gearhead community, and what I didn't actually really start straight away into YouTube. I was just an audience member. I was just, watching automotive YouTube stuff and participating in live chats and talking about stuff and, my experiences and everything. And then Unfinished Project, who you'll see here a lot, he's been one of my biggest cheerleaders, always. And he's always like, you need to burst out a camera, Doug. You need to put that on camera, Doug. And then I hemmed and I hawed. And then finally one day I just said, let's give this thing a go. And here we are. So basically my friends gave me a push in the right direction. That's how I got started. I always found it interesting. I just didn't think that I had the stuff, I guess. And then one day, I guess everyone else showed me I do, I guess, if whatever the stuff is. But I think I bring something to the table, and I definitely take something away. I learned so much stuff from everyone, so I can only imagine the wealth of information that I've gleaned from this community. Yep, channel chats. Yep, just going through, just hanging out. Yeah, yeah. Probably was busted radio. Chris is all right, people. Supercharged should be located at power plants to prevent all the line losses. Yeah. Topping off occurs above 75, 80% higher, in my opinion. Okay. You can charge it at any point, but I don't use the supercharger often. It's about 300 times faster than my home charger. 300 times faster. Is there a way to watch this without being vertical? I don't know. I think you can turn your phone, but it is a vertical live, so I can't go vertical. It's a different format. I don't watch a live that doesn't interact with the people that took time out of their day to watch. Amen to that. What's your favorite turbo? Mine is probably Garrett's. I can't think of those are the ones that I've messed with the most is Garrett's and then Air Research. But a lot of the turbos that I've personally worked with are just stock replacement turbos. I've never done anything high performance turbo. It's always been take turbocharger off, put new turbo on because old turbo is wasted. There was a compound turbo set up on a Freightliner Coronado where you have a really big turbo and a little turbo, and they're connected to each other, and the little turbo blows into big turbo to help big turbo spool up faster. And little turbo died and had died for a long time. They drove it for a year with a bad turbo. And when we went in to remove the little turbo, you could grab the turbo input shaft and you could use it like a joystick, move it up and down, left and right, and you could pull it in and out. And that's bad. And the big turbo wasn't happy with life's choices either. So we ended up replacing both. That was not cheap, even for remanufactured turbo. Oh, I didn't know what it was like before the bad turbo. So we got it figured out, put the driver in the saddle and told him, take it for a rip, come back. And we checked for leaks and he's all happy. It's like, what? He goes, this thing's back on top of the pile, man. It's pulling. Good. What, don't you like taking your turbo for walks? No, I don't like taking my turbo for walks. What is your opinion of Hondas? Let me show you something. Well, no, I'll tell you. I am a Honda man, at least in motorcycles. I love Hondas. I have a Honda engine on my power washer. I have a 97 Honda Valkyrie. I have a 72 Honda CB750. I have a 79 Honda CBX. I love Hondas. Honda makes good stuff. Oh, now my eyes all red from rubbing it. Great. Looks like I'm half stoned. Just this side. Just this side. Hate it when my eye feels like a needle's poking it. All my daughter buys is Honda. Very safe and reliable. You know, guys, my 97 Honda Valkyrie doesn't even have 50,000 miles on it yet, and it's a 97, and I drive it relentlessly. And that bike is good for 250,000 miles before major service. And once I found that out, I decided that I'm going to ride this bike forever. I mean, it's almost 30 years old, and it doesn't even have 50,000 miles on it yet. And yeah, this bike is great. It still turns heads. She looks good. She's still powerful. She's all that I want. I don't want anything else other than I wouldn't mind getting the CBX back out or get the CBX done and ride that. And then of course the CB750. CB750 was my dad's bike, and he owned that bike while he was dating my mom. I think he bought it. Yeah. He bought that bike while he was dating my mom. And they've been married now for 48 years. And he had it when they were dating. The electric cam is Koenigsegg. Oh, that Koenigsegg stuff is insane. Check out the little 3-cylinder that makes 600 plus horsepower. The cam is fuel efficient and powerful. And people don't think I'd be a real racer. My 2002 Harley T-Sport is the best bike I've ever ridden. It's got its gimmicks, but I love it. Old bikes are awesome. Yes, I do love an old motorcycle. In my Honda garage that I don't have, if I was to pick up another bike, I want a first generation Goldwing. I want a 75 Goldwing, preferably in black and gold, or in the yellow and the blue. They made one that was like canary yellow with blue striping, and that just happens to be University of Michigan's colors. So I'm like, Amazing Blue. I'm not big on yellow, but yeah, if it's Amazing Blue motorcycle, that'd be perfect for the Wolverine Garage. But my first choice is black and gold. And then if I was to have if I had a fifth motorcycle, it would probably be a Kawasaki KZ 1300, which is another 6-cylinder motorcycle. I have a rather modified 2017 Accord V6 Touring. Me and the guys believe it makes around 400 horsepower. Don't have access to a dyno. And remember, if your engine doesn't make the horsepower numbers that you feel it should, the solution is simple. You lie about it. Just like your gas mileage. Man, I get 65 miles to the gallon with this thing. What? Yeah. My daughter had a Camry with 350,000 miles on it, and it looked and ran great. Yes. My friend wanted a Camry like ours, and I found him a Camry that was a 2008. Yeah, it was a 2008 Camry, and it didn't have any rust on it, but it had 330,000 miles on it. But it was optioned out just like our car. It had the 5-speed automatic and everything. And I turned to my friend and I go, here you go. I go, the price is right, and I wouldn't be scared of that mileage for a Toyota as long as it was taken care of. And he acted like that thing was just wadded up garbage, wouldn't even look at it, did not care. And I'm like, I would buy that car today. He goes, well, you can have it. I don't want it. It has too many miles on it. I'm like, it's it's different in a Toyota. V6 stick shift Camry. Ooh, we got a 4-cylinder 5-speed Camry. If you guys want to see an enormous building, and it's got to be 3-4 million square feet, Marysville, Ohio, Honda has a facility that is epically huge. It is got to be one of the biggest buildings I've ever seen. It's got to be 3-4 million square feet. Honda Goldwings are built there. 6 months of the CBX in 1980 was made there. Honda El Señor 250 dirt bikes were made there. And so a CBX Honda is really rare to begin with, but you could have one of the 6 months of the Honda CBX that actually has a Made in the USA tag on its neck. How cool would that be? I own about 120 built model cars. Does that count? Yeah. Mini bikes and go-karts. Yeah. There is a guy I know over in Pontiac, Michigan, who has an old CB750 drag bike from back in the day. And it's got a single cam CB750 engine in it, and it has a supercharger on it, but you can tell that this thing has not been ridden in like since probably 1980. And it is cooler than a 3-speed fan. It's been long and extended. It has a rake on it with a big long wheel. It doesn't have a wheelie bar. No, it has a wheelie bar. It has a slick on it that's that wide, and then in the extended part of the frame between the engine and the actual neck, it has a sign that says Detroit Speed Shop on it, and it is so cool. That'd be cool to take out as a vintage, like put it back together and run it in a vintage style. I've never built or assembled an engine. I've disassembled one. I've done head swap on a V8 and countless intake manifold swap. I've installed roller rockers. She can lay down some pipes. Kim's small mini bike is on the list of to do stuff again. After the flywheel explosion. Yeah. I hope that Kim invests in a better flywheel, or at least a blast shield, because that could have ended a lot worse than it did. Hey, can't find out where the limits are unless you push it there. You've got to billet everything in a small motor if you're going to go high RPM. Yeah, it is badass. Well, it was kind of funny when she was talking about it. She was really downplaying it. And she's like, yeah, pushed her a little too far and some let loose, Yeah, it's like, okay, I knew something happened, but It wasn't until later when I seen the carnage that, yeah, that thing was in like 4 pieces. The flywheel stayed contained anyway, thank goodness. So yeah. Please buy a billet flywheel. Go Power Sports. Go Power Sports. So those guys, Cars and Cameras, if you guys have ever watched them, those guys have taken small engine stuff to the next level. They built a slingshot dragster around COVID time in the one guy's dad's garage before they even bought the Cars and Cameras studio that they have now. And they got a Harbor Freight big block V-twin, like a 24 horsepower Predator V-twin. And then they would build it and build it and build it and build it. And they put a turbo on it. And then they ran it on alcohol and nitro. And then they took the carburetor off of it and they put a Haltech fuel injection system on this thing. And it has a trans brake and stuff. The thing is unbelievably fast now. And it runs the same slicks on it that kids run on their junior dragsters. I saw the run and I didn't know anything happened. Then I saw her pushing the mini bike back to the pits. Yeah. Yeah. What's really amazing is like the junior dragsters. Those engines they're based on a 5 horse or a 3.5 horse Briggs and Stratton, and the only thing on the whole engine that is a factory Briggs and Stratton part is the coil. Other than that, it's all lathe built. It's all special engine, and those things are making like 45 horsepower at 7,000. No, 70 horsepower. 70 horsepower at like 7,000 RPM in high-end form, running on methanol and all sorts of other stuff. And it's like McGee is a brand, MCGEE, McGee. These beautiful my friend's daughter had a junior dragster for a while, and she was scared of it. She was so young. And then she got brave, and then actually, old Tater Tot did pretty good. She was running, God, what was her time? She could run no faster than like an 838 because she had a flag on the back of her junior dragster that showed her time, and she was like restricted to an 838 or slower, which is still pretty fast for a kid. I go there and old Tater Tot comes up. She's like, I have a junior dragster, Doug. And I'm like, you've got a junior dragster? Mm-hmm. I said, sure you do. And she goes, you want to see it? And I'm like, yeah, Tater Tot, show me. So she takes me into her dad's garage, and there it is. Oh, man, that thing looks so cool. Tires on the front were that wide. The thing was cool. And her dad painted it black because he does a lot of custom paint work. He painted the whole thing black, and then he painted it all purple, and then he laid saran wrap over it while it was wet, and he ran his fingers through it and stuff, so it had that purple and black marbled look to it. And her real name was on the cockpit, but he always called her Tater Tot. Very fast for a kid. How old was she? Tater Tot was probably 13, 12? No. 11 or 12. Yeah, 11 or 12. But I don't even think the kids run a full quarter mile either. I think the kids run the eighth. Yeah, the kids run the eighth. Yeah, because the older the kid is, the faster they can go. As you age, you're allowed to go faster. And then from age 18 to age 19, you're still allowed, as a kid, you can still run your junior dragster, and then you're allowed a 4-cylinder 750cc road bike engine, but only at 17, only at 18 and 19. So, man, that thing's got to be an animal with a 750 road bike engine in it. Sweet. Grinding wheels can be hazardous. My cousin had one explode in the Navy. Let's just say his jewels were the size of grapefruits. Whoa. I'm an old kid. How fast can you go? You can go as fast as you want, Buff. You're unlimited. You could take a Ford 250 inline six and power yours. Yeah, there's some things that I can't believe that some people have done. Like I've seen brakes pushed so far that the brake face has been completely taken off of the disc, and then what's left of the brake pad and everything is wearing into you see the veins in between that's supposed to be in between it. I seen a solid disc brake that came off of a Volkswagen Rabbit pickup that was worn so thin, and it looked like a slicing wheel off of a meat slicer. That's what it looked like. It had an edge, it had a sharp edge all the way around it, and it looked like a knife. It tapered. Um, Maybe I need to replace the six. Yeah, with a 460. Yeah, that'll work just fine. 460 swap Buff. Got to get your money out of the brakes. I've seen fin rotors at the junkyard. Yeah, it's just amazing. One day I'm at my friend's house, and his niece is there with her boyfriend, and they're like 18 and 19. And he said something about the brakes not being good on his Lumina. So I walk up to the I go to the cooler to get myself a beer, and I'm walking back towards where everyone's at, and I'm by the Lumina. And the Lumina is a dark green car with aluminum silver wheels. Well, the driver's side front wheel is gold from it being really hot and ejecting, the brake dust all over the wheel. It had to have been really hot. So that's what's like, I wonder. And I looked inside, and that's what I was looking at was the outside. The whole outer brake face was gone. It was the veins inside. It's like, good Lord. I want a cleavor, but that can run into some money. Yeah, a cleavor would be cool. I wish you could do the cleavor, Bufferino. What do you think is the cheapest vehicle to work on? A mid 80s GM car, rear wheel drive, like a Caprice or a Delta 88 Olds or an Olds 98 or a Buick uh, um, dang it, I can't even think of it, or a Pontiac Parisian. Anyways, those are cheap because they made a bazillion parts for it. Brakes are cheap. You can upgrade to good aftermarket stuff if you choose to. but you can buy good stock stuff over the counters. It's a small block Chevy or a GM. Later models came with an overdrive automatic, so it'll be a little better on fuel. I think those things, you're going to pay a little more at the pump, but of course it's going to be bought and paid for. And then, yeah, I think that would be the thriftiest car to own. Other than it won't get good mileage. It'll get good mileage for a car. It'll get 20 miles to the gallon. That won't be so bad if you drive it nice and tune it right. But I think for just keeping it going, I think you wouldn't have much money tied up into it. Pretty simple. And yeah, I think if I was trying to, get around on a budget, that'd be my choice. Because I had an 83 Olds custom cruiser station wagon. That thing was dirt cheap to fix. Nothing was really extravagant on that car. Biggest hurdle for a Clevor is the intake manifold. Aftermarket made some Boss 302 intakes, but they're out there. I was going to say 70s Chevy, no computers. Actually, even my 83 had OBD1 and a computer-controlled Rochester on it, and it wasn't that bad. And I kept my GM, all GM. No, just kidding. But I did leave it stock, and that actually did pretty good. Sheet metal intake. Or make an intake. You see, we've done a rough one already. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, sheet metal intake. That'd be cool. Go Bufferoni. If anyone can do it, it's you, Buff. With your background and your abilities, yeah. Make yourself a tunnel ram and call it the Buffer Ram. Buff-O-Ramic. The Buff-O-Ramic intake. Copyright Buff Del Campo Industries. The Buff-O-Ramic. You mean fire up Tesla? Man, I hate to see the price tag if I had a Tesla and had to replace all of those batteries at once. I think you can take them apart, test them, and rebuild them, and only replace segments that actually are bad, as long as everything else tests right. Keep your GM vehicle all GM. That's what is said on the air cleaner of my Duke powered 69 Dart. The Duke is a great engine. My friend went Bobby Bolton. He got a speed parts catalog from those guys that did Legends cars, because they used to run the 2.5 in Legends cars. And his 2.5 was in a black Monza, had a 4-speed and a Duke. And he just went Bobby Bolton, had 70,000 miles on it. So he just got the carb, the intake, the header, the cam, basically without actually tearing the engine apart and doing major surgery. He just went Bobby Bolton, and he could take on stock small block Chevys and win sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes. That was a bad little car. It was actually impressive for a 4-cylinder. Where's Kiwi Dino? I don't know. got the opportunity to drive a Legends car in Southern Ohio. I know the man who owns a truck and let me drive around the track a couple times. I didn't get into it, but man, that's fun. Yeah, those Legends cars are small, and those guys drive them absolutely fearless. I mean, you'll see a dog pack moving at 75 miles an hour, and you can't put a sheet of paper on all four sides, a sheet of paper between them and the other guys. They run such a tight dog pack. The last ones I seen, they were running motors. They were running crotch rocket engines with a sequential shift, and those were pretty cool. They all come out of the corner, get in the straightaway, and they all stand on them. You hear 5 of them all howling at the same time in a little dog pack. It's like, yeah. The Iron Duke drove about like a slant, except it was a lot lighter. I had to crank the torsion bars way down. Crank the torsion bars down. Yeah, the ones that I seen, or it was a different, maybe it was a different class, but those ones were running like road bike engines because that's exactly what they sounded like. And plus the sequential shift. I mean, it could be something else, but yeah, those things were neat. Almost makes me wish I could wedge my fat butt into a race car. 1.2 liter 4 cylinders, 1200 cc's. Well, geez, look at F1 cars. Those are only like 2.4 liter. Those big 12 cylinders are like 2.4 liters, so they gotta have pistons in them about that big, right? And buzzing like 14,000, 15,000 RPM. It's like, good Lord. Runs like a scalded dog. That is a Dougster analogy. Runs like a scalded dog. Whew, I'm sure they do it. Those boosas are something else. The one guys, for a long time at motorcycle shows, you had Busa guys looking for Busa parts, and each and every one of them was looking for an intake cam for a Hayabusa. And they wanted to wreck the Hayabusa, and they wanted to find a Hayabusa engine to buy the intake cam, because to detune them, now a Hayabusa, back in the day, you put your money down on the counter, you bought a brand new Hayabusa, took it off the dealership floor, and you could drive that thing 220 miles an hour. And guys want to make them faster. And so one of the things that Suzuki did was they put a anti-advance cam for exhaust on it to rein in some horsepower. So what guys would do is they would buy an intake cam, because that's a hot cam, and then they would use it as the exhaust cam, and they'd get into it and they'd swap out the anti-advance cam for the hotter intake cam as an exhaust cam, and then degree it into whatever, and then really make smoke. I remember being at cycle shows, Hayabusa parts, looking for an intake cam for a Hayabusa. I go, you and everyone else, bud. Oh, really? You didn't sell one, did you? No, we didn't sell one. If I could find a good Vega body, I'd put my 350 Chevy in it and take it to No Name next year. Okay, but if you get a Vega and you're going to put the 350 in it, then you got to build it like Grumpy Jenkins' Vega. You know, I've only seen one bone stock Vega still with its little 4-cylinder in it. And it didn't have its little radiator in it. It was sitting in a boneyard. But otherwise, every Vega or the, Buick Pontiac equivalent, they were always small block Chevy swapped. or always had different engines swapped into them. Rock's a rock. I could see Buff with a Nova 2, Grumpy's toy, or one of the Grumpy toys. I could definitely see Buff with a Nova 2. I did cooling system for V8 Vegas. They were all street driven. Motion Performance Vega 454 4-speed. Hello! That little thing had to rock it. The Vegas had a really cool feature. The GM engine, there's a lot of cool stuff that went on with the Vega, but they were thinking outside of the box, and it just didn't work out. Lady Dougster just fired up the Toyota. One of the neatest things that they did was GM made special rail cars. They shipped the Vegas by rail, and then there was like 20 or 14 cars to one rail car, and they pulled the car up onto the ramp, and then they strapped it all down, and then you'd get like 7 cars in a row or 10 cars in a row, all strapped down, and then they take a forklift, and then they would stand all the cars up on this door. They're strapped to this door, and then they would ship engines down. And General Motors actually put a special bump in the oil pan so the oil could sit in the right spot. And then if you look at a Vega, that's windshield washer bottle sits at a funny angle. It's not straight in the car. And then General Motors would only put like a quarter or half as much washer solvent in the tank because it was being shipped nose down. And yeah, that's how they shipped them. But the rail cars didn't work out so well because they were so tall that they couldn't take it under bridges and stuff like that. So they had to do an overland route all the way to deliver the cars. And then I always thought that was fascinating. So there's a lot. I mean, the Duke engine, it was an aluminum block with no steel sleeves, and that was its demise, was the fact that it just had aluminum sleeves, aluminum cylinders. During testing, the testers noticed that the Vega consumed oil a lot, but they stayed on top of it. They checked their oil every morning, and they were having successes, because they were up on maintenance. Well, you know as well as I do how the American public checks their oil and stays up on oil changes. And yeah, those things would get run low on oil, and then they would start to score up the cylinders, and then that's when all of the problems start. I mean, Buff can tell you, a lot of the old timers can tell you, it wasn't all that uncommon to see a Vega on the side of the road with the hood up. The scratch buffed out Firebird. Nice. Yeah, packed like sardines. That was Lady Dougster. Iron Duke was iron. Vega engine was aluminum with no cylinder liners. Yes, and it had a cast iron head. That's the one thing that I never understood. The Vega engine is an aluminum block with a cast iron head. Obviously, they couldn't get the aluminum companies to make the head the way they wanted it to. But yeah. Akron Model Show from Saturday. Nice. World, good seeing you. Sting, stop in again. It was nice talking with you. Have a great evening. I'll send you the link, Buff. Hopefully I can figure it out. I got faith in you, Kev. I'm pulling for you. You can do it. And Lady Dougster is off to work. She makes your home safe with fire protection. Man, that little Toyota's great. Actually, it's getting really close. Probably by Halloween, we'll be putting the Toyota up for the winter. And then we'll be pulling out Blanche the Avalanche, run her through the salt and slop. The Toyota has a little bit of rust on it, but not much. And we just want to keep it as nice as we can for as long as we can. Lady Dougster loves that Toyota. I do too. We're live at 7 tomorrow. That's right. Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. That's Buff and Del Campo time. Check them out. Him and Kim are always, they'll be in the studio on Tuesday. And usually they run with a theme. And rest of the week, they're in the shop. And always a good time with Buff and Kim. Oh, my Corolla has a bunch of scary rust, and that's why it's my winter beater. What is your winter car, Dougster? I drive my pickup all year long. Lady Dougster has a 11 Chevy Avalanche that we named Blanche. That is it's 4-wheel drive, so we need that here in Michigan. So that's the winter car. Yeah, I just make sure to wash, and wash again, Black Betty, because the salt is merciless here in Michigan. And Ohio, Dan can attest to that. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Buff seen Rust Belt in action. Hell, back in the day, we used to be such hardcore Mopar guys that me and my friends, we would drive Mopars all summer, and then our crap cars were Mopars. My friend's winter beater was a it was a dark brown 68 four-door Polara. It was a 68 Polara in dark brown, 383 automatic car. And that thing was in sad shape, but the 383 ran great. That thing was an amazing car, and the heater would roast you out of it. You could see through the floor. I could probably picture pop can through the floor while driving, and that heater would make you sweat. It was amazing. That old Polara. Oh, unbelievable car. Here in Tennessee, they close everything if there's a half-inch of snow, so no need to go anywhere. Yeah, half-inch of snow, we're still playing golf. We don't even stop. I only own all-season cars. Well, my motorcycles, for obvious reasons, once it gets so cold I can't ride anymore, I'll put it up. And then once the snow has come out and the salt has hit the roads, we'll get a day or two in January or a day or two in December where the roads are clear and dry, and guys will take out their bikes and ride not me. I don't want that salt on my bike. So usually, like, our rule is put it away by Halloween. It's got to be put away by Halloween, and doesn't come out till spring. So when the spring rains come and we get some real good rain and the roads are washed off, then I'll think about bringing out the bike. Like when I was in Northeast Ohio, snow up to my butt, and there was no excuse for being late to work. Yeah, yep, yep, yeah. The roads are terrible. Roads are terrible for me too. Blah 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 blah. Gotta leave earlier. Yeah. Tried to do Ford Tempos as winter beaters, but they were not well built enough to stand up to the aggressive driving. I had two of them and broke the motor mounts in both within a few weeks of buying. Wow. My mother-in-law had a Tempo. That was before I met her, though. When I met her, she had it was red Geo Metro. She had a Geo Metro that my brother-in-law's grandpa had. He would get cars from the auction and then get repairables from the auction, and he'd fix them up. And that was one of them. Grandpa Leonard got it all fixed up and sold it cheap to my mother-in-law. The old joke was, if the car were to ever break down, we could just stick it in our back pocket and hitchhike. Actually, that was an okay car. It looked good. Had a great color red on it. To be fair, roads in Ohio are terrible in July. This is true. All year potholes. Yeah, all year potholes. Yeah, the potholes. Some of them are just so bad. There was a stretch of road that was getting to be just potholes, pothole patches with pothole patches with pothole patches, which in the great state of Michigan, that's just a recipe for disaster, because you get a crack in the asphalt and water gets down inside of it, then it turns cold and it freezes and it frost jacks, right? And that's the beginnings. And then, of course, we drive across it and chip away at it, and that's what makes the pothole. So you get the county comes out with some hot asphalt, and they just throw a couple shovelfuls in that hole, and then they run the J-Tamp over top of it, right? Problem solved? No, not problem solved, because the cracks are still happening all around that. So once again, even though you've got that fresh thing of asphalt there, water still gets into those cracks around it, freezes, frost jacks it, and it's just a repetitious cycle. You'll get these roads that look like a freaking teenager's face. They're all bumpy. One road that was in particular, it was so bad you could only drive 30 miles an hour on it because you're just all over the place. It was like mountaineering. It was supposed to be an asphalt road. Now, I just seen Dr. G say hello, so we'll say, orange barrel is now the new the Ohio flower. Oh, Ohio should just give up on paved roads. I think Norwood has. Dr. G, hey Dougster, if you mind if I ask John Worldburn to send you my contact information, as I have a few technical questions I would like to ask you. The questions are too much for texting here. I will be absolutely fine with that. John Wilburn has my contact info. Yeah, go right ahead, Dr. G. Brand name, cracking asphalt. Gotta run. Bye, Ma. Yeah, the one road, it leads by a lake and a golf course. It had just it. I never remember it being repaved. So there's ain't no problem, Dr. G. glad to be a help, potentially. Dutcheroo just got done further customizing the Challenger. It now has full-length stripes. Send me a picture of that, please, Dutcheroo. Are they like billboards? Well, I'll see. Cool. Dutch's Challenger is like a German silver. It's a light silver. Looks really good. I'm sure the stripes look bad to the bone. Asphalt. Took me a long time to not say asphalt. Still catch myself doing it sometimes. Which is funny because I worked at an asphalt company and I still called it asphalt. Yeah, that one road that was all really bumpy. Some of the guys were saying that when they went through there and actually tore the old road bed out, and before they, redid everything, they were saying that there was some spots in that road bed that were like 4 feet thick of asphalt with patches on top of patches on top of patches, and they would all sink in and get slammed down, and they just patch over top of it because they didn't have the money and the resources to go about it. It was a big deal. It was a big deal when they repaved that whole stretch, just like the one that runs by the golf course over by me. That's a big deal. Our local casino, I think, they break off a chunk for our local county and help them with roads. It was just pretty neat. The casino, they redesigned the whole. Say Detroit? Detroit? Or are you thinking Detroit? Oh, Driptroit? Detroit. Well, it's just like you say, do you say Battle Creek or do you say Battle Crack? Because I've called it Battle Crack a long time. Detroit. Well, my beloved Tigers lost last Friday and we're out of the playoffs. But man, was that an interesting game. We ran 15 innings, tied 2-2. I tuned into the game late in the 8th inning, and then I finally was so tired at 1 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't keep my eyes open, and I just said, "Go Tigers," and I went to bed. We lost by 1 run. But it was crazy. They'd load up the bases, be almost ready to score, and then they wouldn't score. And then the Mariners would do the same thing. They'd have people in scoring position and wouldn't get the run in, and it just kept going forward. They did a second 7th inning stretch. They did a stretch in the 14th, I heard. The ghost of Mark Big Bird Fidricks not amused. Yes, he's talking to his baseball furiously right now. The ghost of Al Kaline is not amused. Actually, I think Al would be proud of him. We did good this year. Didn't take it all the way, but I got to meet Al Kaline. I got to shake his hand. I got his autograph. That was pretty cool. That was a great trip. That was 2018. We went to Cooperstown, New York. And it was Cooperstown, New York. If you're a baseball fan, that is the place to go. It's just the whole town's wall-to-wall baseball. And Doubleday Field is there. That's pretty cool. It's an old place. It's just, I had a good time. Turbine. It's always been a turbine. Always been a turbine. And one of my favorite colors is Chrysler Turbine Bronze. I was talking about that to a coworker today. I seen a 1970 Charger 500 in turbine bronze with a white interior, a white top, and a white tail stripe. And my God, that car just grabs your attention. It's such a good looking car. Yeah, that is a cool color. It's a beautiful color. Dan. Yeah, I like that color. Um, they called it another color name, but I remember Dodge pickups being in that turbine bronze, that same color bronze. Dan. Oh, Kev, sorry. Oh, he just sent me a picture. Yeah, he has a it's a silver car. Yeah, he has a it's a silver car with a cherry red strobe stripe that goes all the way down the car, and it's very AAR CUDA-esque. Looks really good on the car. Good choice in color. Uh, Dutch. I had a 90 or a 91 Volkswagen Jetta in silver, and it had a red stripe on it. And it was thin at the front of the car, and it got bigger up to like an inch wide back to the car. And then how the Jetta bumped up for the trunk, it got real tall. And then it said Volkswagen. Like somebody laid a sticker that said Volkswagen on it and then painted it. That actually was pretty cool. My old wagon is driftwood beige metallic. Yes. I had a purple Dodge 99 Dodge Durango, and its color was deep amethyst pearl coat. And it was always funny when somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I seen your blue Durango the other day." And I'm like, "It's purple." No, it's blue. And I'm like, "No, it's purple." No, my wife has the same vehicle. It's blue. And I said, "No, it's purple. Look at it in the sun." There are pictures of a Chrysler turbine car in petty blue with 43s on the door, and it's interesting seeing it in a different color. Yes, it would be interesting. The first one was in body and white, I believe. I think there was a test turbine car in white. The near rear wicker bill spoilers suck to install, but it added a lot. It's it's already looking bitch and Dutch. I knew that you were gonna hit the mark. Took my Michigan driver's test in a Mercury Marquis four-door boat. They offered me a chauffeur's license. There is a Chrysler turbine car on display at the Gilmore Museum, and I love that car. I am drawn to it every time. I just am absolutely enamored by turbine cars. Jeffro from Two Hacks Garage, he actually got to go to some museum where they actually lit one up for him, and so they actually ran it for him, and he got to get up close and personal with it. He laid on the ground and shimmied up underneath the car to show all sorts of neat stuff. That was cool. That was way cool. What cars do we have in driver's ed? We had three dealerships in town, and they all provided cars. The Ford Garage. We had uh, uh, Taurus wagons. Yep, Ford Taurus wagons. We had Chevy Corsicas, and then we had Dodge K cars, and then also the Chrysler Garage. They're like Dodge Dynasties, I think they were. And then the Chrysler Garage also gave us a minivan. I forget what color the minivan was. I think it was gray. Never got my endorsements on my driver's license. Don't need no stinking CDL. So you take your driver's test in. So it was either the Corsica, either I took my driver's test in, it could have been any of those cars. I think it was the Corsica. I think I took my driver's test in the Corsica. '69 Torino Coupe. Nice car. Oh, crap. Well, it's 2 hours. Oh, Braden, good to see you. I'm going to be ducking out here, though. It's a little over 2 hours, and I need to get my ass in bed. Be a responsible adult. So, it is always awesome hanging out with everyone here. Always have a great time. Yeah, sorry, Danster. I know. Usually I run 3 hours. Dan, it'll be okay. So let's be like the Beach Boys and let's get together and do it again. Come back next week. Same Dougster time, same Dougster channel. Big thanks to everyone in the chat. Without you, I'm just a guy talking to my phone. So have a great week. See you next week. Bye, everybody.